fear to make you think you cannot do something, or that you cannot have something, or that you cannot go somewhere. But I want you to understand that every now and then, what you really need from God is just a breakthrough. What you really need God to do is stand up in you, because fear will make you feel stuck. Fear will make you feel paralyzed. Fear will make you feel powerless. But when you hold on to God, fear has no power over you, because fear will make you stuck between there and there. In essence, fear gets you stuck in nowhere. Ever hear people talk about being in the middle of nowhere? Where people who are struggling with fear are folk who are stuck in the middle of nowhere. It's like your past has come up behind you and is standing in front of you, and all of a sudden you're stuck because you're trying to anticipate what the future is going to be like based on what your past was. Just because you had been molested does not mean that every man in your life is going to hurt you. Just because you had suffered abandonment does not mean everybody in your life is going to drop you. Just because you had suffered a miscarriage does not mean you will not have a child. I come today to remind somebody that fear is an inhibitor of your greatest potential. Fear is an inhibitor of your ability to produce. Fear is an inhibitor of your ability to perform. The only reason you didn't do it, the only reason you didn't reach it, the only reason you didn't get it is because you were afraid. Anytime you're facing the enemy called fear, God is simply wanting you to remember that he is in your life. He let the disciples go out on the lake. They had just left Jesus, and all of a sudden they're afraid. And so Jesus has to show up again just to calm their fear. I come today to remind somebody, just because your mama had heart disease don't mean there's something wrong with your heart. Just because your grandmama was a diabetic don't mean you're going to be a diabetic. Just because your daddy had cancer does not mean it runs in the family. Just because your child is cutting up don't mean your grandchildren going to be hellions. Look at somebody near you and tell them you can't be afraid of what the enemy shows you, because that pain in your chest, honey, that ain't heart disease, that's just gas. All you need is a little gas X. Look at somebody near you and tell them God is trying to take you to another place, but you have got to stop being afraid. Look at your neighbor and tell them today I'm divorcing fear. Today I'm renouncing my connection with an enemy called fear. If you gonna walk in faith, the greatest enemy as a human being that you will ever face is an enemy called fear. Look at your neighbor and tell him this opponent does not fight fair. He sneaks up on you in the middle of the night, in your nightmares, in your dreams. He will show up when you least expect it. I can only imagine the Israelites coming out of Egypt on their way to the promised land. I can only imagine when the spies went to spy out the land, they came back with a report that seemed to be unfavorable. And one of the first things they saw were the walls. Look at your neighbor and tell them, don't you let your past paralyze you against your future. They saw the walls, and all they could remember is we were enslaved. When we were in Egypt, we were shut up in walls. When we were in Egypt, we had hard taskmasters. When we were in Egypt, we had people who made life difficult. And now they're having a flashback because we see walls. Look at your neighbor and tell them those walls could be the doors to your future. Don't you let the wall back you up. I want you to know that as great as you can be, God is on the other side of fear, waiting for you to push your way through.